This is maybe one of the most revealing things I've heard Trump say, which is saying a lot because it's Trump, right? He just says literally whatever is on his mind. It's not exactly like uncommon. Just listen to this. Insane.
Besides San Francisco, are there other cities you're actively looking at for the National Guard right now?
Yeah. What about it?
I'm just wondering if you care to comment on that.
Well, we've used the National Guard to be very successful in Memphis. You can see the numbers are falling like rocks. Washington, D.C., Chicago is getting better, even though we're going through a lot. And, you know, we're trying to do it in a very nice way. I'm allowed, as you know, as president, like 50% of the presidents have used the Insurrection Act. They can use that. And
we're trying to do it in a very nice way. But, you know, we could just use the Insurrection Act, like 50% of the presidents, which, of course, it's not 50% of the presidents that have used the Insurrection Act. But, you know.
Everybody agrees you're allowed to use that, and there's no more court cases, there's no more anything.
No more court cases, no more anything.
We're trying to do it in a nicer manner, but we can always use the Insurrection Act.
What's your percentage chance on the Insurrection Act being passed before 2029? It can't be passed. It's not a law or a bill. It can be invoked. It's a power afforded to the president in times of need, which of course we're not in, but you know, it is what it is.
If we want, I mean, you take a look in the past, one in particular president used it 28 times during the course of a presidency. So we're allowed to do that. We thought we could do it in a very nice way. All we want to do is have safe cities. We're not looking for anything that would be spectacular other than crime-free become spectacular. We want to have great crime-free cities. So I'd be allowed to use, if I wanted, the Insurrection.
Keep in mind, the woman did not say Insurrection Act. She only asked if he intended on deploying the military to more cities apart from San Francisco, because he had just talked about that. So with no prompting at all, now he's talking about the legality and morality of the Insurrection Act, which means he's been talking about it extensively with his own cabinet, because he just dribbles out whatever the last conversation that he had. It's in his head. I don't think that he knows what the Insurrection Act actually is or does. I don't think a lot of people do. I have to remind everyone watching, as I always do, because a lot of people don't understand, it isn't martial law. There is no martial law in the United States. There's no button the president can press that revokes people's rights. I mean, the president can direct people to ignore your rights, and he has been, but it's not the same as legally revoking them, which is a pretty meaningful difference. The only thing the Insurrection Act does is it allows the police to function the military to function in a policing capacity. It means they have the ability to conduct arrests. This would, in practice, affect basically nothing about the way the National Guard has been deployed. For one, the National Guard in their deployments thus far have not exactly been enthusiastic, and they're not really doing anything besides cleaning up trash and just waltzing around in front of the federal buildings that they've been sent to protect. For two, what does them being able to arrest add? What does it do? They've been sending National Guardsmen in like the low triple digits, 200, 400. What does adding 200 or 400 extra hands do? ICE can already arrest people. The DHS can already arrest. Local police and state troopers can already arrest. What does them being able to arrest actually do? The scary thing about the Insurrection Act in its historical invocation is, imagine a scenario where in a state, the police and the state police, you know, everyone, local, municipal, state, are disobeying the law, you know? Like, basically, the governor and the city mayor are saying, we will not arrest people for lynching blacks. You know, you got a lot of lynchings. And the city and the state are both saying, yeah, police, don't even worry about it. Let it happen. Okay? Then the president invokes the Insurrection Act, you know, sends the National Guardsmen in, or the paratroopers, whatever else. And the idea then is that when the local law is not doing their job, the military comes in and they invoke that authority to begin conducting arrests on their own, just directly from the president. And that way it goes straight to national law. Now, there's a problem here. There's a big problem here in terms of this contemporary potential invocation of the Insurrection Act. In all of the cities where he wants to send the National Guard, there are already armies of national policemen, the DHS. All of those ICE agents can already conduct arrests. You're not adding any new federal, like, arrest abilities in a city. Chicago already has ICE agents. You're not adding, it'd be civil war basically. No! You're not listening! It wouldn't be civil war. You're not adding any additional presidential power. For one, right now, while local police might not really like ICE, they're still arresting people who are belligerent at protests. There's not actually any state or city where the local police are just flat out refusing to obey the law. So there's no need being met here. And for two, there are already federal officers down there. Adding the ability to arrest to the, the repertoire of the National Guardsmen wouldn't add any additional power to the federal government. And then you have the logistical problems. What are you going to do with those you arrest? Cram them in the already overcrowded federal detention facilities? They're already full to the brim. The one in downtown Los Angeles is at like 3 times capacity. How many more people are going to fit in there? And if you were going to fit people in there anyway, why not just arrest them with your ICE officers? What more are you adding with the military? Not to mention the fact that the military aren't trained in conducting arrests. That's a different skill set. Totally different skill set. The military are trained on being military. Arguably, it's going to create more problems for the admin it solves. I agree. And this is exactly the point that I'm making here, I suppose. I don't think anyone actually understands what the Insurrection Act does or enables. It's not martial law. It would probably be more of a hassle for the administration after invoking it, you know? It's not the big red button they could press. If anything, pressing that button would just unify protests against them, because whether or not it meaningfully does much, it still sounds really, really scary. It gives a bunch of people something to protest, you know? Anyway. Just important to remind people of this. U.S. Appeals Court ruled that Trump can send National Guard troops into Portland, Oregon, despite objections by the leaders of the city and state. Yeah, I kind of expected this, to be honest. Chud-ass Court of Appeals.
Insurrection Act, and then all of this nonsense would go away. You have the absolute right. It's the strongest power a president has. And you have...
See, again, he doesn't know what the Insurrection Act is. It is not the strongest power the president has. Not even close. It's not even in the top 50, probably. It's nowhere near the top.
The absolute right to do it. We wanted to go this route, but we get sued every time you look at somebody. You look at somebody the wrong way and you end up getting sued. We just want no crime. We want to have crime-free cities. That's not a big, I mean, it's pretty common sense, I think, but that's all I want is crime-free cities. I campaigned on it. It's become, I think, even more successful than we thought because of the tremendous success that we had literally in 12 days in Washington, D.C. And it can.
Very good, very good. That being, like, the main reason I thought this was shocking, I guess, is that he just started talking about it without even being prompted to. He must be having a lot of conversations about this behind the scenes. It makes me think that if he's going to apply it, it might be relatively soon. You know, I don't know how long they can keep dancing around this. So far, right now, they're not really achieving anything with their deployments, either of ICE or the National Guard. They might try something more extreme. I don't think it's going to lead anywhere.
Don't forget, and I haven't used it, but don't forget, I can use the Insurrection Act. 50% of the presidents almost have used that, and that's unquestioned.
It would be so cool if just one journalist had the balls to ask him to name the presidents who have used it, knowing fully well that he wouldn't be able to name one.
Power. I choose not to. I'd rather do this. But I'm met constantly by fake politicians that think that, you know, it's not like a part of the radical left movement to have safety. These cities have to be safe.
We'll see if it happens, but again, if it does happen, I really don't think much is going to come of it. I really don't. Well, I don't think much is going to come of it in the sense that I don't think it's going to meaningfully add to the president's power. A lot may come of it in like a social repercussion sense. Hopefully. I mean, I would like there to be social repercussions for this bullshit. That would be nice. Just something, political consequences, anything, you know? That'd be cool, in my opinion, maybe. It's been invoked 30 times for what it's worth. Yeah, but usually it's invoked with the consent of the governor you're sending them into the state of, you know? It's rarely invoked otherwise, and a bunch of that was during the Civil Rights Movement. Wasn't it mostly during Reconstruction of the South? Yeah, but they deserved it. That was their fault. Hold on, I want to see this. What the f*** did he say here? Hold on.
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them
I don't know. Sounds like their problem to me.
survive in a free world. I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can, but don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right? They're dying.
What do you mean by being?
It does go a long way towards explaining why so many world leaders clearly hate Trump but are bizarrely nice to him. And it's just because Trump will do, like, genuine kindnesses to your country in exchange for loyalty. Like, right now, Argentina is getting $40 billion for no reason other than because Milei is a simp who showed up to Trump's inauguration and praises him every chance he gets. 1/3 of the bridge money? Yep. Yes, sir.